Hello, my amazing artist. In this video, we will make our very own Vincent Van Gogh inspired sunflower. For this project, you will need a white piece of paper, a coffee filter, a cup with water, and a paintbrush if you have it. And you also, if you have watercolors and oil pastels, those would look really great with this project too. Okay, so to begin, grab that coffee filter and you're gonna scrunch it up. Look at that. And then unfold it, and look, you can see some texture on that coffee filter. Now, to make it lay on the paper, add some water. I'm adding a little circle of water using my paintbrush in the middle of my paper. Then place the coffee filter on top. Okay, it's not really going to stick, so we need to add some water on top of the coffee filter. You don't want so much water so that there's puddles, but you want enough so that the entire coffee filter is wet and it's starting to stick to the background. All right, friends, now it is time to paint. So I'm going to use some watercolor. You can either use watercolor like mine or watercolor in a tube or really any paint that you have. And then I'm going around my flower and I'm going to add some stripes here, some yellow stripes. I'm thinking of a big yellow sunflower, but I want mine to be a little different. So in between the yellow stripes, I'm going to add some orange stripes. These are not perfect. I actually really like how it looks when the orange and yellow bleed together. Bleed in art means when colors blend and spread together. Also, I am moving pretty quickly. That's because I want the paper to stay wet. That allows the watercolor to spread and bleed, and I just really like that effect. And then you can probably tell this is not really a super realistic sunflower. That's because I'm choosing colors that I want. You can choose these colors or you can choose different colors. It's totally up to you. Okay, artists, check this out. I am adding purple on top of the yellow. Now, what color is that creating? It's creating a brown color. That is what happens when we add complementary colors together. Yellow and purple are complementary. They look really good side by side, but if I add them on top of each other, it's going to create a neutral color, and a brown is a neutral color. Okay, friends, fast forwarding here a little bit. It is now time to paint the background. I like to outline where I'm going to paint, and then I paint on the inside. This will keep your workspace a little more neat and clean. And then I'm choosing to add pink on the top part of my background. Okay, check it out. I'm adding a little bit of pink on top of that blue. What color is it creating? Yes, it's creating a purple color. That is what's so fun about watercolor. You can mix your paints directly on your paper to create new combinations and colors. I love it. So if you want some variety in your background, maybe have two different colors. If your colors are not mixing, that means that you need some more water. And then if your colors are not as bright as you'd like them to be, that means you need some more paint on your brush. It is all about finding a balance here. Okay, now I've let my background dry a little bit, and if I go back over my background with some paint strokes, those strokes are going to show up, and I like how this creates some texture. It creates some movement, kind of like Vincent Van Gogh's paintings. Okay, then you have to let this dry, and you'll notice that the water has evaporated. That is why the coffee filter can come off. You could glue the coffee filter on top, but I'm actually going to put it to the side and just use what's left over. We actually just did a form of printmaking because the paint soaked through that coffee filter and it is now printed onto the paper. Pretty cool. Okay, to add some details, we're going to use oil pastels. Okay, if your oil pastel is low like this one, you have to scrape off a little bit of the wrapper there, unwrap it like I'm doing, and then it is good to go and you can use it. Of course, if you need some help with that, you can ask me, or if you're at home, ask an adult. So that we can tell this is a flower, I'm going to draw some petals. So I do that by doing one curved line and then another curved line. Maybe you have a different way of drawing these petals. That's okay, draw them how you would like. You could even experiment today. It's a great time to practice. And then I'm going back and adding some orange petals in between. Okay, so I know on the inside of a sunflower, there's a bunch of seeds there. These seeds are what cause the flowers to grow. So I'm going to do little dots in the middle there. I'm using a black, and then I'm gonna go back over and use a brown oil pastel. I like the variety that this adds, and it creates some texture, which is pretty cool. And next part, well, what does a flower stand on? It stands on a stem, exactly. So I'm going to use a green oil pastel, draw my stem, and I want it to be nice and thick so that it stands out. You can see it, and color it in. I'm also gonna add some leaves just to add a few more details. Of course, you could draw your stem however you would like, or your leaves however you would like. But I just think this looks nice and it makes it more obvious that this is a flower. Now I could just leave this as it is, but I'm an artist who loves really bright colors. So I'm actually gonna go over and color in some of the petals, but notice I'm using like zigzaggy lines, and that's to let some of the watercolor show through the petals because I like that effect. You might wanna try that. Sometimes we purposely color what that kind of looks like scribbles. Well, that's on purpose. That creates texture. And then see how I'm going back over my petals with a darker color? That creates value, how light or how dark the petals are. So there was a lot of steps to this, artist. You have a lot of freedom in how to make this, but as always, I hope you have fun, take chances, and stay curious.